I'm Mark Matsumoto and welcome to my Tokyo kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make the OG version of ramen fried rice. It's called Sobameshi and there are no cup noodle gimmicks here. It's just a whole lot of carb on carb action and it's Japanese soul food at its finest, so stick around. Sobameshi is a portmanteau of yakisoba and meshi, which is Japanese slang for rice. Legend has it that it all started with factory workers in Kobe during the 1950s. They'd bring in their bento boxes of cold rice into shops specializing in dishes like okonomiyaki and yakisoba, and they'd ask them to bulk up their order with the rice. These days, it's become a popular home-cooked meal throughout Japan, and my version is loaded with ground pork and vegetables, which turns it into an easy one-pan meal that comes together in under 10 minutes. Sound good? Let's have a look at our ingredients. I'm gonna be using 1 brick of unflavored instant ramen noodles. Make sure you get the fried type and not the air-dried type. I've also got a 1/3 cup of water, 200 grams of stale cooked Japanese short grain rice, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm also going to be using 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 120 grams of ground pork, 100 grams of cabbage, 50 grams of onion, 40 grams of carrot, and some scallions and beni shōga for garnish. To make the sauce, I'm going to add the ketchup, oyster sauce, and Worcestershire sauce to a bowl, and then I'm going to crack in some black pepper. Now we just need to stir this all together. This easy combination of condiments provides the perfect balance of the savory, sweet, sour, and umami tastes, along with a hint of spice that makes yakisoba so addictive. Next, we need to prepare the ramen noodles, and I like doing this by putting them in a heavy-duty zipper bag and sealing it. This keeps things tidy because the next thing we're gonna do is crumble the noodles into rice-sized pieces with our hands. By breaking up the ramen like this, it allows the noodles to mix evenly into the rice as we fry it. Once your instant ramen noodles are looking like this, let's move on to crumbling the rice. Japanese short grain rice is pretty sticky when it's freshly cooked, but as leftovers sit in the fridge, the starch is retrograde, making it nice and crumbly so that it's much easier to stir fry. Okay, our rice is nice and flaky, so let's prep our veggies. For the onions, I want to chop them up into rice-sized pieces, so cut slits going in one direction, almost to the edge. Then you can rotate the onion and add a few more slits on the side. Now we're going to turn the onions 90 degrees and chop them up on the other axis. They don't need to be perfectly rice-sized, but you want to chop them up small enough so they mix evenly into our sobameshi. To prep our cabbage, I'm going to start by slicing out the tough stem in the center and discard it. Then I'm going to stack the leaves up and cut the cabbage into 1/4 inch wide strips. Finally, I'm going to turn the strips 90 degrees and chop the cabbage up into squares. These are going to be larger than the rice, but it's okay because the leaves are nice and thin. For the carrot, we're trying to get it cut into pieces that are about the same size and thickness as the cabbage, so I'm going to start by making 1/4 inch carrot sticks. Then we're going to line the sticks up and slice them into relatively thin pieces so they cook through evenly. By the way, these are the most common veggies added to sobameshi, but the whole idea of this dish is that it's a quick meal you can make with leftovers, so the vegetables and meat you use are pretty flexible. The last veggie we need to prep are the scallions we're using to garnish our ramen fried rice. I'm just gonna use the greens today, so line them up and chop them up. To make the sobameshi, I'm gonna add the oil to a large frying pan over medium-high heat, And then I'm gonna add the onions, cabbage, and carrots. Then I'm gonna use 2 spatulas to stir fry the mixture. This is how dishes like yakisoba are traditionally cooked on a flat top grill. The extra surface area of the larger pan keeps it nice and hot, so we're able to get some good browning on the outside of our ingredients without overcooking them. Next, I'm gonna add our ground pork and use the spatulas to chop it up into small crumbles. Once the pork is nice and small, let's add the ramen noodles along with the water. Then we're gonna continue to stir fry this until there's no liquid left in the pan. Instant ramen noodles have been flash fried at the factory, so they only need to be rehydrated, but make sure you're getting the right kind of noodles because the ones that have been air dried take longer to cook and they're not gonna work using this method. Once all the water is gone and you start hearing some nice sizzling, add the rice and continue stir frying everything until the rice is warmed through and the ingredients are just starting to brown around the edges. You can also toss the pan like this to get to areas that you may have missed. To finish off our ramen fried rice, I'm gonna pour over the sauce and toss it all together. Keep tossing the mixture until the ramen and rice are uniform in color. And our sobameshi is done! This recipe makes enough sobameshi for 2 people, but I'm gonna plate it all up in one big bowl today. Then I'm gonna sprinkle on our chopped scallion greens for garnish. Top it off with a pile of beni shōga or red pickled ginger for a pop of color and flavor. And our sobameshi is ready to eat. This reminds me of street food from a summer festival, so let's try it out. Itadakimasu! Oh yeah, let's go in for a little beni shōga and some of the rice and the noodles. The noodles are slippery and soft. The rice is caramelized and chewy. And you've got all those vegetables and that pork giving it tons of umami and sweetness. And you've got those spices from the Worcestershire sauce with that black pepper that's just a match made in heaven. Double carbing it might sound a little bit odd at first, but you get the best of both worlds from the yakisoba and the yakimeshi. In Japan, we call this kind of comfort food B-class gourmet, but this is an A+ in my book, so I hope you'll give it a try. Oh yeah. It's so good. Well, I'm all carved up and ready for a workout, but check out this playlist for more Japanese street food. And I'll catch you in the next one.